Welcome to this particular module. In this module, we are going to expose you to how you are going to know a 12-volt solar panel by physical examination and by testing. Maybe you use your multimeter. How do you go about that? Let's consider how we are supposed to know that this panel is a 12-volt solar panel. The number one thing that you have to do is if you look at the first figure that I am having here, you look at it, and if you count the number of cells, you discover that there are 36 cells. There are 36 cells. Each is 0.5 volts. So by physical examination, we are saying this is the cell arrangement of a 12-volt solar panel. So by physical examination, if you count the number of cells that you are having here physically, you get to know that it's going to give you 36 cells. And when you have that, when you count the number of cells and it's sum up to 36 cells, know that that is a 12-volt solar panel. I repeat, if you count the number of cells on the solar panel and it sums up to give you 36 cells, that means that that solar panel is a 12-volt solar panel. And if you need a charge controller to charge a battery, maybe you are having one solar battery that is 12 volts, you need a 12-volt charge controller to use it with a 12-volt solar panel. And maybe if you turn the nameplate of a 12-volt solar panel, you are most likely to see a voltage range depending on the manufacturer. You can see here open circuit voltage. That is, we already said that open circuit voltage is the voltage that you have when this solar panel is not connected to any load. So if you test this solar panel when it is not connected to any load, you are most likely to have 24 volts. But if this solar panel is connected to a load, you have voltage at maximum power. We will talk about this anyway. So we say that when it is connected to a load, there will be a voltage drop. So it's most likely if this solar panel, a 12-volt solar panel, is connected to a load, you have a voltage of less than 24 volts, because this was open circuit voltage when it was not connected to a load. But when you connect it to a load, maybe voltage, we say voltage at maximum power, you are most likely to have a voltage drop of say 17 volts. This is the electrical connection. The electrical connection of this particular 12-volt solar panel, you see, they are connected in series. This is the panel group, This is the cell's arrangement. You see, positive to negative, positive to negative, positive to negative. And when you sum up the voltage at the end of the day, you might have like 19.8 volt depending on the manufacturer. So how do you know a 12-volt solar panel? The number one thing you have to do is to count by counting the number of cells. And you know that a solar panel with 36 solar cells, there are 12-volt solar panel. Number two way of knowing that this panel is a 12-volt solar panel is by observing the specification on the nameplate. Solar panels of 50 watts to 200 watts are 12-volt solar panel. If you look at a solar panel that is 500 watts, that is not a 12-volt solar panel. So solar panels that are maybe 50 watts to 200 watts, there are 12-volt solar panel. That is when you look at the nameplates. Then solar panels from 17 volts to 21 volts at open circuit, there are 12-volt solar panels. Then another thing is, if you know the current rating and the peak watts on the nameplate, if you do your division, you should have a voltage that will give you between that will approximately inform you that that panel is a 12-volt solar panel. We know that power is always equal to IV. So if you know the current and you know the power of of the rating of the solar panel, if you do your calculation, you are most likely to see the voltage of that particular panel after your calculation. So these are the ways you'll be able to differentiate a 24-volt solar panel from a 12-volt solar panel. One is by counting the number of cells. And if you count the number of cells, you have like 36 cells. That depicts a 12-volt solar panel. By observing the nameplates, if you turn the nameplates of the solar panel and you see the wattage is maybe 150 watts, it's a 12-volt solar panel. If you look at the open circuit voltage and the open circuit voltage or voltage at open circuit, then you see a voltage within the range that I have already expatiated on. You know that that is a 12-volt solar panel. Those are some of the ways. You can use your probe to test this equally. You use your probe, your multimeter, to test it, and you see the voltage reading on the multimeter. That is the way out. That is how to know that this panel surely is a 12-volt solar panel, and it will be used with a 12-volt charge controller and a 12-volt system.